Good morning. You're still watching the Breakfast Show on BusinessDay television. This is the Business Morning segment. I am Destiny Momoh. But right now, let's bring to you the news in details. Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti has signed into effect the Abia Mini-Grid Regulation Framework, a policy document designed to expand electricity generation and distribution to unserved and underserved communities across the state. Otis, speaking at the signing ceremony on Wednesday at the Government House, Umuahia, revealed that the event marks the culmination of months of planning, stakeholder engagement, confidence-building measures, ideation and policy reviews by experts, investors, and energy consumers. The governor explained that the framework provides clear and comprehensive answers to both technical and commercial questions from investors and consumers, defines the rights and obligations of stakeholders, and establishes mechanisms for the speedy resolution of disputes. Moving on, the Naira has recorded its strongest gain in 7 months, buoyed by more robust foreign reserves that saw a $4.1 billion rise between July and August. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed that the Naira rose to 1,506.08 Naira to a dollar on Wednesday at the Nigerian Foreign Exchange Market. According to reports, the last time it was this strong was on the 5th of March 2025, when it closed at 1,500.80 Naira to a dollar. Another currency has continued to enjoy rare stability driven by the various policies of the Apex Bank, including maintaining a high interest rate, a move that has lured in foreign capital and made the currency firmer. Still on, trading data from September 10 indicates that approximately 42.3 million Aradel Holdings shares were exchanged in a deal worth approximately 22.4 billion Naira, marking the largest single-day trade of Aradel Holdings since listing on the Nigerian Exchange in October 2024. Recorded about a week after listing, the largest shareholder, Africa Capital Alliances, CAPE, sold 19.8 billion Naira shares in a bid to improve liquidity in the market. And this fresh transaction has reportedly seen the stock advance by 3.68%, moving from an opening price of 511 Naira to 530 Naira. And now to end the news, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has revealed that the edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025 has concluded successfully, surpassing all targets with $48.3 billion worth of deals signed, according to Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of Nigeria and Chairman IATF. A standout highlight of IATF 2025 was the signing of $48.3 billion worth of trade and investment deals, surpassing the initial $44 billion target. According to reports, Algeria alone accounted for $11.4 billion in signed contracts, representing 23.6% of the total, with an additional $11.6 billion in potential export opportunities for Algerian companies still in the pipeline. Obasanjo described the fair as a celebration and a culmination of vibrant exchanges, dynamic partnerships, and a shared vision for a prosperous Africa anchored in peace and security. Now let's go on a quick break. When we are back, we will be discussing our first topic on the Business Morning today. I am Destiny Momoh. Stay with us.
They say money never sleeps. Wake up to clarity, insights, and the stories driving business in Nigeria and beyond.
From the heartbeat of small and medium enterprises to the pulse of national economic policy, this is where business meets perspective. With expert guests, real-time analysis, and stories that matter to you, we go beyond headlines to bring you the full picture.
Join us every morning as we break down the numbers, decode the policies, and spotlight the people shaping our economy. This is Business Morning.
welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning. Now let's move to the first conversation of today. We're talking about a fractional real estate, which is democratizing property ownership across borders. And now, in today's evolving property market, fractional real estate is emerging as one of the most disruptive trends. And this is a model that follows multiple investors to co-own high-value properties across borders without bearing the full financial burden. Analysts describe it as the Airbnb moment for property investment and breaking down barriers that once limited ownership of luxury apartments, commercial buildings, and vacation homes to a wealthy few. By pooling resources, investors from different parts of the world can now acquire shares in properties located anywhere from New York to Dubai, from Lagos to Cape Town. Advocates say the model is democratizing real estate, opening opportunities for young professionals, diaspora investors, and middle-income earners to participate in global property wealth creation with digital platforms and blockchain-based registries providing transparency and secure ownership. The model is gaining traction among tech-savvy investors, but challenges remain. Questions over regulatory frameworks, property management standards, and even cross-border legal protections are key concerns for stakeholders, and experts insist that for fractional real estate to thrive sustainably, there must be stronger legal safeguards, investor education, and even global partnerships. Now, still the trend points of a future where property investment is not just the preserve of the ultra-rich, but an accessible, borderless asset class, redefining how the next generation builds wealth through real estate. Now, joining us through enviable light and some bullet points is Dr. Daniel Moses, CEO and founder, Property Wealth Education, Diaspora Empowerment Leader, and an award-winning entrepreneur, wealth strategist, and global thought leader with over 22 years experience spanning property, capital raising, trade across border leadership, and a member Forbes Council. Good morning, Dr. Daniel.
Good morning. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I'm having a little bit of an unstable network.
Oh my God.
I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you very well. So now let's talk about some key talking points about, some few bullets, if you ask me. So now, very quickly, fractional real estate, breaking down barriers to entry by allowing people to invest in property ownership collectively. Can you throw more light on this?
Well, I am struggling a little bit to hear you, but I will try to do my best in answering the questions. So the question is, how is fractional real estate democratizing real estate?
True.
So, well, if we kind of want to look at wealth distribution from the low income earners to the middle income earners to the average middle income earners to the wealthy. Now, if we talk about real estate is something that naturally those who are sort of the middle income earners and as well as the average income earners and the even poor income earners across the entire world sometimes thinks that real estate is only for the super wealthy or the wealthy. Now, property over the last 1,000 years has been one of the easiest way to create wealth. Property investing is one of the easiest way to build wealth one brick at a time. But unfortunately, the prices for building a property portfolio to basically owning assets that can put money back in your pocket often, seem to be out of reach to the middle class income earner, to the average income earner. So I'll give an example. I've lived in the United Kingdom for over 20 years. And the average salary in England is £37,000 per year. So £37,000, that is a gross income. So meaning there is still tax to be taken out of that money. So for example, 20% of that money, goes back to the government when you're earning £37,000 income per year. Now, that will be classified as around about your, the lowest sort of income. So basically, people who are earning that kind of money can never, ever, ever think about actually owning a property when you live inside London or when you live in around London. So, well, now let's come to Nigeria. Nigeria, the average salary in Nigeria, as far as I'm aware, currently, it's under 100,000 naira. So between 70,000 naira to about 100,000 naira. So really and truly, on a nutshell, people who are earning that kind of amount are actually in a position where not in even in this lifetime would they be able to say, I own this property. If you look at, if you just basically look at statistically on the overview, it means that anybody earning about 100,000 naira, it's never going to be put in a position to own a piece of land or a piece of house that would probably put money back into their pocket. So this is why fractional real estate is democratizing property. Now, fractional real estate can be distributed into different property structures, from land banking to owning piece of real estate that produces cash flow, like you mentioned during your introduction, talking about Airbnb models and so on and so forth. But the true essence of fractional real estate is to co-owning assets, to pulling capital together to either buying real estate structures that are producing cash flow from at least 7.5% yield per annum or more. So fractional real estate enables the average man on the street that is earning, let's bring this to Nigeria, that is earning 70,000 pounds. So that is earning 70,000 naira to 100,000 naira, giving them the ability to maybe contribute a fraction of their income per month, per year, or even the realistic one would be per week or even per month, to even contribute a certain amount from their salary to co-own an asset over a period of months, years, and a decade that will produce capital back into their bank account month in, month out for future investment purpose. So take fractional real estate as basically owning a stock, owning a piece of stock in a cash flowing producing asset, or owning a piece of fraction in a land that is positioned in the appropriate location to obviously become a higher valued asset over a period of time.
Oh, wow.
So democratizing this.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. You're actually going to talk about my next question, like in democratizing access, opening the doors of real estate to everyday earners, not just the elite across Africa, Europe, and the UK. What can you speak, about this one?
I didn't catch that question. Pardon me, please.
I said, still talking about, I heard you were trying to talk about the democratizing access, opening the doors of real estate. Democratizing access, that is opening the doors of real estate to everyday earners, not just the elite across Africa, Europe, and the UK. So can you throw more light on this?
Yes, absolutely. That was where I was going to.
Yes.
So basically, the democratization of real estate now becomes accessible to the common man because now, so let's give an example, right? I run a multi-million pound property business in the UK. We've transacted multi-million pounds in helping people invest in real estate.
Okay.
To buy an average property in England, at any given point in time, you need a 10% deposit. So let's say you're buying a property worth of 100,000 pounds for the sake of numbers. So let's keep it simple. 100,000 pounds, you are buying a property. You need, if it's residential, if it's a house that you want to live in, you need to have at least 10% of that money to be able to buy a house worth 100,000 pounds. And then probably you need another 5 to 10,000 pounds to basically paying for your cost and the rest of it. So meaning that you need an average of 20,000 pounds, because the bank, as long as you have the requirement, you would need around about another 10,000 pounds to add to that, so that you only contribute roughly from your savings about 20,000 pounds to own a house worth 100,000 pounds. Now in Nigeria, yes, in recent times, the Federal Mortgage Bank is beginning to launch products, for example. But the fact remains, if a house is worth 100 million naira in Nigeria, how many people has 20 million naira. How many people have 20 million naira saved in their bank account to own a property for them to go and then get Federal Mortgage Bank to be able to finance that process for them?
Okay.
So the democratizing of real estate here, using fractional real estate, it is that for a house that is worth 100 million naira, multitudes of Nigerians can come together. Obviously, this needs to be delivered through a person, a platform that is credible. So, for example, this is where we bridge the gap. We bridge the gap sometimes, most times, where we basically find people who have steady income so that they can all come together and then own a piece of property that will be managed passively so that these people can be able to generate a return per month, per year, and over the next decade on the capital appreciation. So on this aspect now, for a property that is worth 100 million naira, you do not need to find 20 million, for example. You just need to have a little bit of a fraction, which can be starting from as little as maybe 1 million naira to 10 million naira to whatever number of fraction that is pleasing to you to then co-own this piece of asset, whereby the legal entity, the legal document has your name on it, and then you now own a fraction. Now, fractional real estate is not something that is uncommon. There are other structures that has been created in the past, such as real estate investment trust, and the list can go on and on. But just the fact that many people are not aware that this is actually possible out there.
Exactly. Now, you've thrown more light on this. I'm sure that people won't take advantage, just the way you have said it. Now, talking about cross-border wealth creation, building pathways for the African and Caribbean diaspora to co-own assets beyond geography. How can this be accessible? How?
It's all about platform. It's all about platform, and it's all about trust, right? So you wouldn't doubt a single day if you were to take your money to First Bank, would you?
No.
So this is the situation. So over the last couple of years, I've been in real estate myself. And I've been in real estate for nearly a decade now. So what this mean for you in Nigeria? What does this mean for you in the diaspora? What does it mean for you in America? Say, for example, you need to own an asset. You need to own a piece of asset that is quite cash producing. Now, most times, many people in the diaspora wants to own their first home. When we talk about fractional real estate here, we're talking about the investment model, not literally buying where you want to live. We're talking about cash producing assets that puts money back into your bank account and that appreciate over time. So meaning that you can own a piece of real estate in Asokoro, you can own a piece of real estate in Banana Island, you can own a piece of real estate in Ikoyi that is producing cash flow by basically not having to travel down, not having to raise 1 billion naira as an example, but obviously contributing a little capital to the co-ownership of property in Banana Island, Abuja. And this can be replicated across not just Nigeria, can be replicated across Africa. And as well as those in Africa can now also own a piece of real estate, for example, investing from a minimum of $1,000, a minimum of £1,000 to co-owning a property in the UK that is worth £100,000 or that is worth £1 million, depending on the situation. So the cross-border here prevents you from actually physically having to travel to go and own a piece of property across the globe. But then again, with the opening question that I said, would you doubt First Bank for a day? So meaning that finding a real estate platform that actually produces and fits the compliance for you to basically own a piece of this asset, whether locally or internationally.
Oh, wow. So you've actually touched a lot in that regard. Now, talking about the sustainable legacy, shifting communities from just earning salaries to actually building generational wealth through structured property portfolios. Please, I want you to actually throw more light on this.
I mean, we live in a society these days, especially being Black or being an African. We live in a consumption community. We live in a consumption society. When we look at building legacies, most people never actually think about building legacies. You can actually start to build a legacy to create wealth with as little as 1 million naira, 10 million naira, 20 million naira, 30 million naira. But we live in a society where instant gratification is the order of the day. People are not being taught. People do not understand the importance of having to drop a little water, a little drop of water that can become an ocean. We are in a consuming society. We are in a society of the get rich quick social media, social media days. So people are not being told, rather than to save alone, but to also invest, especially in real estate. So real estate, you can touch it, you can see it, you can feel it, you can go to visit it. It is a tangible asset that is physical. So if you are co-owning and building legacy using property as a wealth creation formula, you can be able to see a property that you have actually gone to co-own, or you can actually go and see that property that is on a piece of paper that you have been told you own, and it is verifiable. In the United Kingdom, you can verify the ownership of a property without leaving the shores of your living room.
Okay.
So now, building legacies means that we have to obviously, first of all, the government has to come in to put in the sort of encouraging entrepreneurs who are looking to basically digitize, assets, data across Africa, so that this can be verifiable. That way, when people then think about how can they build legacies across border from their living room, they know that they are not just investing in a piece of paper. These are things that can be verifiable, that can be touched, that can be seen. But obviously making sure and understanding that little drops of water does also make an ocean, meaning that you can start at laying that brick one at a time, from 1 million to 10 to 20.
I agree with you totally, Dr. Daniel. You've actually thrown a more light than I could even have ever imagined. I would have gone more and more asking you about, your view of how fractional real estate can reshape wealth, but we have run out of time now. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for always being there. Each time we want you to throw more light. Thank you.
Thank you
and
so
have a
much.
Great day.
I hope the network wasn't too disappointing.
No, not at all. It was very smooth. Thank you. Have a great week ahead.
You too. Thank you
now,
very
we've been
much.
talking to Dr. Daniel Moses, the CEO and founder, Property Wealth Education Diaspora Empowerment Leader, and a member of Forbes Council. Right now, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll be doing our second conversation on business tourism. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. You're welcome back to Business Morning. Now, talking about our second conversation, we are talking about business tourism, driving investment, innovation, and global partnerships. Business tourism, which covers travel for conferences, exhibitions, trade fairs, and corporate meetings, which of course is becoming a powerful driver of global economies, and Nigeria is beginning to explore this potential more strategically. Industry experts say business tourism does more than fill hotel rooms. It fuels international trade, attracts foreign investment, and opens doors for knowledge exchange. Major cities like Dubai, Singapore, and Cape Town are already reaping billions annually by positioning themselves as global business tourism hubs. In Nigeria, the government and private sectors are beginning to spotlight Lagos and Abuja as destinations for international conferences and exhibitions. The recent surge in fintech summits, oil and gas expos, and creative industry fairs points to a growing recognition of business tourism as a catalyst for development. However, challenges remain, from inadequate infrastructure to security concerns and even limited global branding. Stakeholders insist that unlocking Nigeria's business tourism potential requires stronger partnerships, modern convention facilities, and even consistent visa and travel reforms to attract global participation. And our analysts add that if well harnessed, business tourism could help diversify the economy, create jobs, and even position Nigeria as not just a travel destination, but a center of commerce and innovation in Africa. And now joining us to unveil the business possibility in Nigeria tourism is Ambassador Ayo Omotosho. He is the CEO, Travelog Limited. Good morning, Mr. Ayo. Good morning, Mr. Ayo.
Nice to talk to you. Good morning, Nigerians.
Oh, good to have you talk to us about business tourism this morning.
My pleasure to be on this platform.
All right, then. Welcome. Now, very
Thank you
quickly,
so much.
how can Nigeria
Yes.
reposition? Can you hear me, Mr. Ayo? Can you hear
Loud
me?
and clear from here. I can
Oh,
hear you. I can hear you.
good, so good. So let's go on. I said very quickly, how can Nigeria reposition itself to compete with established business tourism hubs like Dubai, Singapore, or even South Africa?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. That is a very lovely, interesting question that is should be on top of the lips of Nigerians. For the first, let me put it this way: the Nigerian side, the sheer size of Nigeria, about 923,768 square kilometers. That will tell you that the entity called Nigeria is big, is with the population of Nigeria, over 215 million people. And when you look at the nations that you mentioned, Egypt, Singapore, UAE, you realize that they are doing the new oil, which is tourism. Tourism is the global phenomenon. Tourism is thriving in Egypt. Tourism is thriving in Singapore. Tourism is thriving in Dubai. Every nation around the world, they are keen into tourism. And Nigeria shouldn't be an exception. So Destination Nigeria, before they can actually key into it as a business tourism destination, there's a certain need for Nigerian government to redefine the economy diversification, by moving away from the monolithic economy, which is the oil and gas. So there's a need for us to diversify the economy, which is Mr. President, saying that we should renew the hope of Nigeria. And the only way out is to use tourism as an instrument to renew the hope of Nigeria. So come back to the mines, which is meeting, executive conference and exhibition, where we have the leading destination, Dubai, South Africa, Egypt. They always have a calendar of events from January to December. All of them are doing that because to attract international visitors, into their various countries. So Nigeria should key into that. By the time they are ready for it, definitely everybody would like to come to Lagos. They want to come to Abuja. Like Abuja is a capital, is a political capital of Nigeria, and Lagos is the commercial capital of Nigeria. So Lagos should have more conference centers, more interesting places, so that they can begin to attract international events, into the country at the same time, so that they can compete with that of Dubai, with that of Singapore, with that of Egypt, with that of South Africa. South Africa has 2 or 3, major events apart from their internal one, which is Indaba. Indaba is calendarized in May, that people must go to Indaba. People must go to Meet Africa sometimes in February. People must go to Dubai at Arabian travel market, and whereby we have thousands of people, coming to Arabian travel market. Even in Singapore, as tiny as that, that region is, it attracts a lot of, events. It attracts a lot of opportunities. And when they are doing that in Nigeria, it will provide job for the younger people, and it also provide, more money for the country as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now, what specific policy reforms do you think are needed to make Nigeria more attractive to international conferences, exhibitions, and even trade delegations?
It has to be the language of the government. I want to see my President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to be talking tourism. By let me lay this background. Tourism is government of government. Every aspect of government, whether we are talking about agriculture, as we are talking about agriculture, you are talking about agro-tourism. As we are talking about Ministry of Health, they are talking about medical tourism. As they are talking about youth and sport, they are talking about sport tourism. So they must align to see that the only products.
Mr. Ayo, do we still have you? We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we will try and re-establish contact with Mr. Ayo to talk about business tourism. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back to Business Morning. We apologize for that break. We're still talking to the CEO of Travelog, Mr. Ayo Omotosho. the business tourism expert. Are you still here with us, Mr. Ayo?
Yes, I'm here live. I'm here with you.
Thank you so much for staying back. We wanted to still continue what you were talking about on the aspect of exhibitions and trade delegations.
Okay.
Mr. Ayo? Do we still have you? We'll still go on a short break. When we come back, we'll still be talking to Mr. Ayo Omotosho. It's still Business Morning on the Breakfast Show. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back to Business Morning. We're still with Mr. Ayo Omotosho, the CEO of Travelog. Mr. Ayo, in what ways can government's private sector collaboration strengthen Nigeria's business tourism ecosystem?
Yeah, it's a simple thing. You just have to have a PPP arrangement. You see, government only creates a living environment for tourism to thrive. And we at the private sector, we have been pushing over the years. Tourism is sustainable.
Okay.
You know, with tourism, you are touching lives, you know. And like I said humorously, that tourism is, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, Mr. Ayo.
Tourism is inelastic. Once you place a premium on tourism, everybody will align with tourism values. You know, Nigeria is so blessed with so many tourist attractions, you know, within this country. Every sector from north, west, south is blessed with so many tourism attractions. So it's not only the sites now. What about the hotels? What about the restaurant? What about our food? What about our culture? What about the iconic, you know, personalities we have? I was in South Africa many years ago that they said 100 ways you can experience, you can feel late Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa. So the government must first of all see it. We at the private sector, we have seen it. We have seen it ahead of them, that there is a need for the tourism is sustainable by creating a level environment, by also foster unity, economic in our economy. So the more you see people welcoming into your countries, you know, the more money you make, you know, that is going to grow the economy. So the government must first of all see that by creating a enabling environment, by making sure that tourism thrives in every local government in Nigeria, 774 local governments. By the time they see the local government chairman, I want to see my local government chairman in my state to see, let's talk about tourism. I want to see Mr. Governor talking about tourism. I want to see Mr. President talking about tourism. I want to see, of course, our good work that the minister is doing, you know, talking about tourism. So it's unless we come to the round table to see how can we move this nation forward, and the only instrument we have is tourism. That is why we set up Destination Nigeria Governor Tourism Conference, whereby we want to connect tourism with Nigerian governors, saying that, oh, in your state, you know, you can, you know, touch lives. You can create more employment for the youth in your state by, you know, embracing tourism as an economic way of, you know, development. So there is a simple thing for my president, for the government to see that, okay, let's align with the private sector, different, you know, associations. We have what we call Federation Association of Tourism of Nigeria, FTA. At that level, we know it interfaces with the private sector, with the government to say, how can we move this forward? How can we have more revenues? How can we have this done by creating an environment? Security is not the challenge of tourism in Nigeria. It's about Nigeria. Do we, you know, explore within our countries? Do we visit from Lagos to other sites? You know, until we begin to see that tourism will always go in Nigeria.
All right. So now, to what extent does Nigeria current infrastructure, convention centers, even our airports, hotels, and digital connectivity support large-scale business tourism? Do we still have you, Mr. Ayo? At this juncture, we've lost Mr. Ayo. But this is where we draw the curtain on Business Morning. Up next is a big story still on the breakfast show. I am Destiny Momoh. Thanks for staying with us.